All right, we're getting ready to pour concrete. Had to lift the level of this because it was coming down the hill like this in the back. Added a bunch of dirt with the backhoe. You can see where we cut out the hill behind it up there. And we've got the basic framing in. I'm gonna straighten like this board out with more stakes. And we're pounding it all down flat, all the dirt. Should be roughly the right height, hopefully. Here you can see it's all pounded now, showing some of the tools that I used. So you got a couple of the floats here. There's a steel float. Under there you have the edger in my hand right now. It's got that edger piece, and then here's the jointer for cutting it. Then we have a bull float. Okay, so here's a rebar. Looks like we probably have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So I made an error, which I'll show you in just a second. But you can see here that's coming off the side of the stake, about an inch out, going to about the middle of that other one. And it looks like it kind of closes in a little bit right around there. So I put a stake in there and push this form in slightly. I have these strings here to help me measure the depth that I'm going to be at. So for example, you can see my goal is 4 inches uniform, and that's pretty close. I got certain spots where it's a little higher. I need to do a little more work still. That's around 3 inches. I've straightened out this form board back here, the long one. I put that pin in the middle and pushed it in nice and straight now. Looks pretty good. Here's where my mistake was. I have this string coming off, and as you can see, it starts in the middle of this one and goes to the outside of that one, so you gotta kind of adjust for that. But it still probably should be pushed out in the middle a little bit more here. But I can't do it anymore because I put that other form board in and don't care enough to change it. So probably gonna live with it this way. You can see I also put those strings across here to check what they are. And here's one that's not been straightened yet. I will straighten this board out. It might actually make the other one a little bit worse though when I do that, so I'll try it. We'll see. Might actually have to take that one out. That would be unfortunate. I don't have people to help me, so it's challenging. Okay, so I have the rebar in, rebar chairs to hold it up. We had to dig out a little bit under the rebar chairs because they're way too tall. Stupid ones from Home Depot. I don't know why they have so much height above the rebar. Got a little too much height above the rebar. Anyways, they're good now. Dug them down a little bit. These forms should all be good to go. Packed a bunch of dirt behind it to hopefully help. As well as we have the stakes screwed into the forms. So we will see. I need to put in some screws here on this end, that end, and that end, and they'll be good. Coming together. Here's the form I'm working on up here. I'm going to do one on the other steps as well after this one. But got this one all staked and screwed. Probably one more stake in the middle there. Backfill with dirt. Should be pretty good. I read online that if you keep concrete moist during the first week, it's 50% stronger. I don't have the nicest finish, but I'd rather have it strong, I guess, than weak, although it's probably plenty strong for what a patio is used for. Put the blankets down where I had them, wetted them down, and used straw for the rest. Got a lot of straw, sell it to customers for $4 a small bale, so that cost me about $4, that little bit of straw. and got nice and wet. So it should trap the moisture in and hopefully help that concrete cure a little bit better. I think these blankets might be a little bit waterproof though. That's kind of a worry I have. I'm not really sure. They're moving blankets. Got them cheap. But I did spray it underneath first, so hopefully it'll be okay. Kit Kat.
I want to eat that.
It's a very friendly little Kit Kat.
It's a really little Kit Kat.
Very friendly little Kit Kat, huh? Oh, careful, buddy. It's nice. You just give him a scratch on his back like this. And then you have a friend. All right, come on up. I think it's probably hungry. So this is the finished slab. For a first pour I've done by myself, or with my farm hands, but without the assistance of my neighbor who has owns a concrete business. It's not too bad. I don't have any major cracks or anything. A few things I'm not super happy with. You can see along the house, the concrete, basically we ran out of time to finish it. It set up a lot faster than we thought. It had spent an hour in the truck getting here, and then an hour while we were putting it in the pipe holes for the thrust blocks. And see, I did a little bit here to clean that up, and I had done a little bit here, a little bit along here. It's not as great right there, but down here I didn't do anything, and this turned out pretty poorly. I also bull floated only parts of it because it was setting up so hard, and basically we started pouring back there, and by the time we'd gotten it all set up here, that was pretty hard. So you can still see our screed marks because the bull float didn't really push things down or level it off much. And so now I have some of these little divots in the concrete. And there's little bits of chunks and whatnot, but all in all, I don't think it's terrible or anything. If you look at it from back here, I think it looks pretty good. There's no major cracks. It's flat, level, runs away from the house. I have a grinder that I'm going to take to it to try and clean up some of the stuff along the back, as well as maybe a couple little points along here. Hopefully that will improve it a bit. Gonna wear a respirator because when you're using a grinder and creating all the silica dust, it's really bad for you. So we'll see how this turns out. Okay, so I took the grinder to this. I think it looks better now. You can see those humps are still there a little bit, but they've come down quite a bit. Not bad. There's a couple spots where there's still a little bit of humps. Kind of cleaned up on some of these edges here too. Straightened them out a bit. I cleaned up this area a little bit, and I think it helps. I think it does look better. Nothing else kind of sticking up or out. Generally not too bad. I might touch up some of these spots, like that little divot and these. Getting close though. Okay, buddy, thank you. Okay, get you. And here's the finished work. You can see the edges are much smoother now. The area along the house, the chunks are kind of ground down quite a bit. I actually ground down some of the brushwork as well because it was sticking up too much and a little sharp. So I think it's an improvement. If I did it again, I probably would have had more help on hand, especially considering how long it took for this concrete to get here and how hot it was when we finally poured it. It was already setting up right away. That's why I have those screed marks. So I was able to smooth out a lot of little edges and cracks and things. The grinder does leave some marks. Not much to be avoided on that. I was able to clean up along the edge of the house quite a bit. Still doesn't look perfect. Concrete does not have cracks, which I'm really happy about. Just the surface didn't turn out that beautiful. You got screed marks. I think what happened is we bull floated over a lot of that, but it was just kind of bleed water that was bull floated, and so as soon as it was washed, you can see it just went right back to the screed marks. Smoothed out a lot of that though, so there's not like any pokey edges for kids' feet when we're out here. Should generally do the job, I think. So, should be good.